What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Phase 6, your source for music, business, motivation, and support. It's your boy, Sir Love. It's another episode of Ask Sir Love. And on this particular episode, I'm going to be answering a question from Darren Campbell's Music. Darren Campbell Music. I actually answered this question in the podcast form. So I did about 27 clips already. So a lot of you guys that are waiting for that, I've told, hey, I got a clip coming. You haven't seen it yet. It's because we originally were going to do this via podcast, and I wanted to find a way to get to the market quicker and do video, and that's what we did. But I have about 27 clips of just dope fire stuff. It's going to be coming. It's going to be all audio based, and we're going to try to format it like this. But to get to Darren Campbell, I answered it in audio, but I want to answer this in video because I feel like this one is worth seeing my face. I may not say the exact same things I said before, so you should watch both if you get the opportunity to. So let's talk about it. Darren asked a really good question. I did a video called 4 Reasons Why Artists Get Bad Contracts. Why they get horrible contracts, right? He says, hey, what I don't understand is why you need an attorney to help improve your deal. I've heard lots of people say that if you have a good attorney, you can improve the quality of your deal. But why? I don't understand the difference between an attorney asking for a better deal than the artists themselves. Thanks for the video. I appreciate it. This is a great question. And coming off the last video where I pretty much talked about, my book and answer questions for people that want to know about the book, I feel like this is the perfect follow-up video to give you a lot of value for people that don't know who I am. So let's do it. All right. Why do you need an attorney to look over your stuff versus you looking at it yourself? Now, I'm assuming that Darren is saying this because Darren feels like, hey, I'm a smart guy. I can read. I understand basics of contract. And if I don't understand the basics of contracts, and if I don't understand the basics, I can Google it, right? Everything's available. Why do I need an attorney? All right. So let's talk about it. All right. The reason that you need an attorney, and first I'll say, I agree partially. I do believe that there's a lot of content that you do not need an attorney for. I personally review a lot of documents and I am not an attorney, right? I've been looking at contracts for so freaking long. I've seen everything. I'm pretty sure I could go, if I wanted to, take a couple classes and pass the bar, right? Not trying to undersell the bar. It's a hard freaking test. I'd have to really study my ass off, but I'm really in position because I've been looking at contracts for a long time. So I feel you with that side of it. But there is value. And I do believe artists should bring attorneys in. Let me tell you why. One of the biggest things is that attorneys have seen so many different types of contracts. So you can read the contract yourself, but it's not about what's in the contract that you're often worried about. It's often what's not in the contract that you're worried about. You're signing X type of deal, and X type of deal is supposed to come with A, B, C, and D. Your contract has B and D. Reading the contract will not give you any insight into A or C. Therefore, you sign a deal and find out later that things were excluded or not involved in the deal that you should have had that you didn't have, but there's no way to find that out by reading, right? It's one example for why you need an attorney, because they've seen this X deal so many different ways. They know what should be in as standard, and they know what could potentially be worked in based off of all the other artists that have come through this pathway before with that type of X deal that may have pushed the limits and had different asks and requests, right? Additionally, language, right? There's language in these agreements in entertainment that may mean one thing in one industry and something completely different in this industry. Now, most contracts will have a definition section at the top that will break down various different definitions and try to help prevent that from occurring, right? But if you're new to contracts overall, there's a lot of different areas that may be new to you in the process of reading, learning, and researching. There's a lot that you could miss. There's a lot that you may not understand. The process of reading a contract often requires you to refer to multiple subsections of the contract. You may be reading Section A, Paragraph B, and in Section A, Paragraph B, it will say that this particular statement, all things associated with this statement are applicable or apply to the rules set in Section 17E. And now you got to stop reading, go down to Section 17E, figure out what the fuck is going on in 17E, and understand how that correlates to 1B, right? And if you, and the contracts do that throughout because they're trying to prevent from being repetitive and contradictory. Therefore, you're constantly going back and forth through the contract trying to understand what's what, and you could get confused or misinterpret or not understand certain parts of the deal. All right. This is all just the paperwork shit. All right. And there's more paperwork shit. But let me jump off of paperwork first and for a minute and get into the emotional, political side. Because that's big too. And that's probably more important for you than the paperwork stuff that I can continue finding weeds in, right? The political side is that you are trying to build a relationship with the label. The label is trying to build a relationship with you. And the label's value of you may not be the value that they're representing in the contract. Let me explain that. Let me, I just can't say that. Let me give you an example of how artists are. Women and men, this is for everyone. My channel is mostly watched by men per the statistics. I'm going to use a male example, but it goes for women too, all right? As a man or a woman, when you look at a mate, a person that you could potentially date, right? You are going to judge them based off of the merit that you find important. Maybe how attractive they are, how tall they are, how young they are, what type of job they have, right? All sorts of stuff, but whatever you care about, right? And after assessing said person, you may assess that this person is a 7 or a 6 or an 8 or whatever you think they are. And whatever they are, you may be comfortable. You're a 6, and I'm comfortable with giving you a 6 level of me, right? Whatever that value is, I'm going to go at that level. Because when you take a 10 out, you might take them to a different place than you take a 6. Now, everyone doesn't feel that way. But that just might be how you approach things. A lot of people approach things like that. Some people, they do it fair for all. But that's not always how you win. Because if you do everything fair for all, you say, hey, I'm going to treat everyone like an 8. The 6 will be happy with it. The 8 will be okay with it. But the 10 will be frustrated. How dare you? Right? Especially if you know your worth. Or you think you know your worth. Which brings me to this point here. The label is you in this dating scenario. The label may see you as a 6. Or even as an 8. But you may feel like you're a 10, you're a 12, right? And the label does not want to have that conversation with you because they don't want to tarnish the relationship. Have you ever gone on a date and told somebody, you know what, you're a 6? Hell no. But you may be out with, maybe not even on a date. You might not even date 6s. Some of you are like, I can't even relate to this, sir. I don't date 6s. You know what I'm saying? All right. Okay, you met her at the club. It wasn't your night. It's the end of the night. It's 2 o'clock. You trying to go home with something. The 8s, 9s, and 10s is home already. They gone. But there's a 6. And they looking good. They looking pretty good. It's dark. You got some drinks in you. Are you going to walk up to them and tell them they're a 6? Are you going to negotiate the conversation by making them completely aware of that? No. There's a lot of conversation pieces that the label may not want to have with you, may feel uncomfortable having with you, and could tarnish the relationship because they don't want to say something to you that offends you, and then you in turn don't sign something with them. Just like you don't want to say something to that 6 in the club and offends that 6 in the club, and they don't go home with you that night. And you can say, well, I don't want to be someone that you just go home with. I want you to treat me like a 10. Well, if you're not a 10, then maybe you shouldn't be doing a deal with me right now because you're not 10 status yet. So you can get your 6 self acting like a 10 out my office. Do you want the relationship to end that way? Do they want the relationship to end that way? No. There's a whole bunch of 6s out here married and happy with kids right now. The relationship worked out. Over time, you found out, oh, you wasn't really a 6. These other qualities made you more valuable. Whatever the crap it was. I'm giving you practical. I'm breaking this down. This is practical, right? In short, the relationship between you and another person could be tarnished by your presence in the room. The label would love to have this conversation with your manager. The label would love to say, hey, no, we're not giving them this amount of dollars because we don't feel like your artist is worth that. It is worth that in the marketplace. We only feel like your artist is viable for X amount of dollars. Therefore, we're only going to grant this amount. And the manager can say, but you haven't seen our numbers. Our numbers are growing. They're scaling in a way that you haven't seen. Have you seen the numbers that we're doing in Canada right now? We're expecting this new record to really take off. You haven't seen the new stuff in the pipeline. And the label's like, I've seen the stuff in the new pipeline. You think it's going to do that well. We don't think it's going to do that well. This is what we're willing to give you. Show me. The label doesn't want to have that conversation with you because they don't want to tarnish the relationship. They want to have that conversation with your representative. They want to be brass tacks hard with your representative. Think about it. Can you, as a man, can you walk up to a woman and tell her about her weight problems? And it be an okay conversation. That's how people feel about you as the artist. Now, you can tell her friend, you can tell her trainer, you can tell someone else, yo, she got to lose some weight. She fat. But you can't tell her, not if you want to maintain a good relationship. And even if she feels she can take it, I can take it. If I'm fat, it's okay. Tell me. I can deal with it. Right? Once you tell her, someone else will tell it to her in a different way or will omit it. And she will naturally feel more inclined. Well, this person likes me a little more. They appreciate me. They don't think I'm fat. They think that I'm valuable and I'm beautiful. You see where that goes? So the label loses by being honest and transparent with you. They don't want to talk to you. They want to talk to your representative. They want to talk to someone they can be honest and transparent with. You know what they want to talk to you about? They want to talk to you about dope records. They want to talk to you about your dream and where you want to go with your career. They want to talk to you about artists you want to work with. They want to talk to you about what countries you want to visit on your tour. They want to have fun. They want to have date light conversations that build the relationship and help you guys become closer and garnish and galvanize your team and garnish future winnings and findings and whatever the fuck. They want to have sunshine and rainbow conversations, right? Just like when you're in a club talking to that six at the bar, you trying to have conversations about whatever looks better than a six. Well, god darn, you know what I'm saying? Your shoes is fly. Oh, made you pick those out? Okay, I see them shoes, them earrings. Okay, I see you. She in there like, stop, right? All that's going on. This is me being 100. I'm being transparent, right? This is the conversations. They don't want to have these conversations with you. So why you need a lawyer is because, one, the lawyer knows things that you do not know about subjects that you have not seen or experienced. And they can help you by discovering these things because they're aware of them. And they can do a better job of negotiating because the person they're negotiating with wants to talk brass tacks and be very direct and very defined with them. All right? And it's always best to have a manager or someone else start the conversations because the label can be direct with them, but that person is less intimidating and less threatening because they're not coming with the energy. A lawyer is a hired gun. I hire you to go to war for me. You go into battle, right? You have the option of going to battle or sending someone else to go to battle, and you can send. And someone else is more tactical. They're better. They do this. You send a more tactical person, right? But before you go to war, right? Before you go blowing up some shit, you want to send the negotiator over first. Let's talk about this. Let's see what we can put together, right? Let's see if we can make this make sense. Now, instead of your lawyer being there dropping bombs, your lawyer's just there for presence, just to let you know we ain't fucking around. You said what you said. Make sure you hold up your side. That's all your lawyer got to do because you had a conversation with your manager. Manager had a conversation with the company. Y'all talking back and forth. That's how it should go. And as a manager, you can't be too transparent with what the label is saying about your artist because you don't want to tarnish the relationship. And that's the shit. And so, Darren Campbell, you can read your own contracts and you can negotiate your own contracts, but somebody will likely do it better than you for the reasons that I've stated. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. Are there ways around it? Are there people that have done it? Yes. Would I suggest it? No. I don't know everything, y'all, but I know a lot about a little bit about a lot, and I'm always trying to give you guys everything that I got. Every time I talk about contracts, I want to make it as practical as possible. Maybe that metaphor worked. Let me know in the comments. Tell me, did that metaphor work? Did that stick? Did that hit? Did that help? Right? And for anyone that's watching, if that came across too masculine and not, and didn't respect the feminist energy or whatever, what I'm saying? It had no intention of hurting anyone or anything like that, and we live in a PC world. You gotta be understanding of every culture. But this is how, every culture, but every group, but you gotta understand that this is a reality for men in the club that are trying to get lucky, right? Pharrell said it. I'm out here to get lucky. That's the reality. That's a reality conversation. And that's reality situations for you as artists, because a lot of you artists out here think you 10s, think you 11s, think you 12s, think you off the scale. But labels are seeing the baddest things walk through every day, and they seeing garbage walk through every day. And they have a very clear understanding of where you rank in the pecking order. And they might miss it. But if they miss it, it's because they miss it from the perspective of what they can do. Because every label makes a decision based off of what I could do with you. Just like dating, right? Oh, she could be an amazing person that and you can know, man, if I get with you, then we can go to the moon. Someone else looks at her and goes, nah, right? So it's all from the perspective of the person that's actually doing the deal, that is deciding whether or not they want to rock. And then the other person on the other side has to decide too, right? And so one label may pass on an artist because they feel like in our building, our resources, our tools, our network, that's not going to work. And so they'll tell you, I'm sorry, we're just not interested. That doesn't work. We don't think you have it, right? Doesn't mean the next label is going to feel the same way. They have a different set of tools, a different process, a different group of people, and they may feel like, oh, this is perfect for what we're doing and what our goals are as a label, because labels have goals. Labels, people don't even know that labels have goals. We're trying to transition from this genre to this genre. We want to get more market share in this. We actually want to rebrand ourselves in this way. Like, labels have goals, and so do you line up with their goals? It's a whole other part of the conversation, and lawyers know that. You may not know that. Lawyers know that. Lawyers may know where the label's going because they have conversations with these labels. They have conversations with these people. They may know what the label's dream and vision is and may be able to talk about how they can align you to that vision and how the numbers and how what you're doing aligns and what it's going to take to make this. Because a good lawyer, has to sell you in the conversations in order to get you what you need. There's a lot going on here, guys. There's a lot going on. It's not just read this shit. When I'm reading, I'm thinking about all of that. What's my strategy? How am I going to make this work? Or I'm giving up this. That's cool, but I'm going to get that so I can flip this like that. Like, oh, I'm giving up this, but I wasn't going to do shit with that no way. For this record, because I don't have the resources, I don't have the tools, that's not my vision. I'm actually going to do this. So I need this. Right? Contracts are strategy, guys. They're strategy. And you can't strategize if you don't know what the fuck going on. I'm cursing too much on this one, but you can't strategize if you don't know what's going on. And you can't you can't negotiate what you don't see, and you can't speak to what you don't know. I'm Sir Love. Again, I don't know everything, but I know a lot about a little bit about a lot. I'm always trying to give you guys everything that I got right here on Phase 6. I hope this video was helpful. This is powerful. I hope you guys appreciate this. I'm out.